And good evening. This is Bob, W6CJX. And this is the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. I will be your net control operator for tonight's Papa Great Outdoor Net. This net meets every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Pacific. This is a directed net, so please go through net control at all times, and your cooperation is always greatly appreciated. Before we get started, let's pause for any emergency or priority traffic. All right, hearing nothing but crickets, we'll continue with the net. Stations with emergency or priority traffic come into the net at any time with a double break, and net control will respond appropriately. The Papa System is an open membership supported system in the Southern California area with the coverage from Mexican border to Paso Robles and from the Channel Islands to Las Vegas, Nevada. If you're a visitor to the Papa System tonight, I invite you to go to papasys.com, that's papasys.com, and register as a guest. With your guest registration, you have 45 days of free access to the Papa System. At the end of your guest access period, we'd love for you to become a subscribed member and continue to use and be a part of the Papa System family. However, all amateurs are welcome to participate in the daily, weekly, and coming up this week, the monthly net once again. Can you believe it already? Regardless of their membership status. Again, this is the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. Well, let's see. We got Happy Labor of Love Day. I didn't officially change the holiday, but I did add something to it. Labor of Love. So hopefully everyone is enjoying this great weekend. It's one of those weekends we can kind of celebrate without feeling guilty. Well, not guilty, but we have our Memorial Days and our Veterans Days. And so Labor Day is just for all of us laborers out there. And so we can have a little fun with that. I want to thank Rich, KB0FJB, for hosting the net last week for me so that I can get my stuff together at the final end before we launched off to Papa Ham Camp on Monday morning. So thank you, Rich. Do appreciate your help on that. I thought tonight we're not going to do a whole net on Papa Ham Camp. No. We're not going to do that. But I thought we could do a little wrap-up and just kind of go through a few things on that. As far as the island trip, we had a great trip. We had 4 day trippers out of the group. Steve, KI6LOV, Matt, K3MAT, Tom, KI6BL, and Ed, KB6THO, went for the day. And couldn't get them to stay, even though we tried, but they had to leave. No, anyway, it's a great day trip. I encourage everyone. Campers, we had 5. We had Adrian, KK6H&G, Evo, KO6BKX, James, K0WDG, Brian, KO6CDD, and Justin, K3ENE. So we had a fantabulous night for a moon dance. We had a fantabulous night, or not fabulous trip. Anyway, we had a really good time. And as always, got to encourage a few of you to come over either just for the day next year or come over and camp with us. So it's a tricky one because you got to get reservations for camping 6 months to the day almost. So, it's like a February thing. You got to get it in the mail there and get your reservation. All right, before we go any further than that, let's go with Steve's field report. I think Steve might have a little first impressions of going over to the Papa Island. We're just going to call it Papa Island now. It's our island. Steve, if you're out there, KI6LOV, you have the microphone.
All right, thank you, Bob, and everyone out here on the Sunday night Great Outdoor Net. It's always great to be here. And, yes, my impressions of my day trip to Santa Cruz Island. Number one, just in general, it was a fabulous trip out to the island. There is one of the concerns I had, and I imagine many others might think this, it's about the traffic driving from South Bay or Santa Monica, where I live. The traffic was wonderful. I was heading to catch the 9 o'clock boat, and I was going against the traffic, not only out there, but in the evening all the way home as well. So the traffic is not an issue. The boat ride was a little bit bumpy, but not too bad. The Island Packers service is very professional, and as I mentioned, the deckhands were fabulous. A couple of young ladies were in charge, and they had a couple of others under them, young guys, and it was a really nice ride out there. Unfortunately, we didn't see any wildlife along the way. More about that later. And if you've never been to Santa Cruz Island in particular, once you get there and take the short hike out to the Papa Campground, you'll notice it looks just like the mainland. It's like you are in one of the coastal canyons. It's quite nice. And let's see, one last thing. The boat ride back is always a little faster than the ride out because you are in a following sea and downwind as well. And once again, no wildlife, no dolphins, no whales. And the captain even commented it was very unusual not to see any of that along the way. So I was kind of disappointed. Perhaps I jinxed the boat. Who knows? But it was a great trip. I recommend it to anyone. And I think next time I'll plan to camp out a couple of nights and do a little hiking. So back to you, Bob. KI6LOV 73.
Well, thank you, Steve. Yeah, we had a lot coming back on our trip. But of course, we were, 4 or 5 days later. It was beautiful. It was one of those where the sea just boils with dolphins. And they just, the captain, she did a great job, by the way, coming back because there was whitecaps when we were leaving the dock there. And I thought, it was just Evo and myself, the last two, on Friday. And I thought this is going to be a rough ride going back, but it really wasn't. She just navigated around the swells, however they do that, but she did a great job. And then she paused for these this pod of dolphins that was just, hundreds. I mean, how could you count them? But just wonderful. And you can't help but think that the dolphins know we're there and they know that we're looking at them, from the boat or something, because they just sit there and they go right by and they look at you and look sideways and they do flips and they tricks. It's just crazy. It's like SeaWorld all over again. W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor and Air. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, I think you had a great trip, and we'll look forward to it again. It's open, I think, all year round out there, so you can always grab a boat and go over for the day and take a nice hike. That's highly recommended before you go maybe camp. That way you can kind of check things out a little bit. All right, let me pause, and we've got to do our announcements before we get too far down the road here, so stand by.
Here are the Papa System weekly announcements for the week of September 8. The Papa Inland Empire Breakfast. Papa will be meeting in person on Saturday, September 13th, at 9 a.m. at the Mill Creek Cattle Company. Everyone is welcome. We will be offering ham license testing at 8 a.m. for technician, general and amateur extra class licenses. Please RSVP for attendance and for ham license testing at 8 a.m. We will have a special presentation from Evo KI6BKX from the recent Papa Ham Camp 2025 expedition. The Papa West Side Luncheon. Papa will also be meeting in person on Saturday, September 13th at 11 a.m. at the Sizzler Culver City. We will be offering ham license testing at 10 a.m. for technician, general and amateur extra class licenses. Please RSVP for attendance and for ham license testing at 10 a.m. We will have a special presentation from Bob W6CJX from the recent Papa Ham Camp 2025 expedition. Papa Quick Start Program. In conjunction with our test sessions, we have a Quick Start program for newly licensed technicians. Our Quick Start program is designed to get you on the air, as soon as your new FCC license arrives and help you understand how to use a radio on the Papa system to communicate with fellow hams. If you sign up for the program, the Papa system will provide you with a pre-programmed UHF handheld radio at no cost to you and assist you with technical and operational issues as you learn more about ham radio. More details are available at the test session and on the Papa website. The USS Midway Museum radio team, NI6IW, will be on the air on Saturday, September 13th from 0900 to 1600 Pacific Standard Time. They will be commemorating the USS Midway commissioning on the 10th of September, 1945. Check the Papa website for modes and frequencies. All this information and a whole lot more can be found on the Papa website at papasys.com.
Alrighty. Thank you, announcer, sir. And so, yeah, there's nothing happening this next weekend coming up, but a week from then. So everything seems to be happening on Saturday, the 13th of September. So I guess tomorrow's the 1st of September, isn't it? There you go. I got my calendar figured out here somewhere. So, yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I think Evo's going to go do the Mentone breakfast, and I'm going to head down to the West Side Luncheon. It'll be my first time actually there, and give a little presentation, probably the video that maybe a few of you have seen on YouTube just of Papa Ham Camp, but there's a lot of people that maybe haven't seen it or just want to know more and answer a few questions. So good with that. I had a thought that on the way back on the boat, I shared with Evo, and I said, I want to give Papa a lot of credit, but I also want to give amateur radio a lot of credit of bringing these great friends together that we all spent this time on the island together. I know there's like a maybe slight chance that one of us might have met up some other way, but the fact that we met on amateur radio and they're truly lifelong friends, I really feel that way about most of my longtime friends here on the Papa system. So with that, I just think that is a wonderful thing. And also going out to the island there, you have technically no cell service, technically no Wi-Fi, technically we just want amateur radio. But it is such a nice reset from looking at your phone and doing all this stuff, that you do every day in work and all this, text messages and emails. And just this nice reset, and you don't have to worry about war, you don't have to worry about politics, you don't have to worry about any of this other stuff. That's the real world of nature and just getting back to it, back to reality, I suppose, just for a few days anyway. Okay, for tonight, I figured, it might be a little light. That's okay, just with the holiday being here. And I was kind of kicking around a couple different topics, and I thought, one just kind of fun, make it easy, and doesn't have to be too big of a deal, is just what is your favorite thing to maybe barbecue or fix on Labor Day weekends, like that kind of thing. Do you barbecue? Do you not barbecue? Do you go out to dinner? Do you just bring in a pizza? Things like that. But hopefully, the labor of love is definitely, like I would say, barbecuing, which I did some today and made a nice brisket for the family, and we had a little bit tonight, but we'll have more tomorrow. It's very good leftover. So let's take some check-ins. If you have nothing, just say hello. That's good too. And we'll see who's out there tonight. W6, CJX, Papa System, Great Outdoor Net. Please come now.
KC6ESW, Mike in Santa Clarita.
Kilo Oscar 6, Juliet, Charlie Alpha, Jeff, Papa 3.
Kilo 6, Delta Victor, Elsinore, Ellen.
November 6, Hotel Alpha Lima, Hal, San Marcos.
Kilo Foxtrot 4, Papa Quebec Hotel, Ron, Locust Grove.
Kilo Oscar 6, Kilo Charlie Yankee, Chuck, Oceanside.
All right, looks like a good place to put the brakes on. So we'll get, I think we got quite a few there. We got Lou, and we got Jim, and we got Mike, we got Jeff, we got Ellen, Hal, Ron, and Chuck. So let's go with that list, and then we got plenty of time. We'll take a few more. So let's say hello to Lou, W8LU. How are you doing, Lou? Haven't heard you much lately, but good to hear you tonight. So go ahead and take it away.
Hey, thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. Yeah, just been busy. Work's changed, and hours have changed, and all that stuff. But I'm still here. I'm supposed to do a big ride today, 1033 benefit ride, which I do annually. But I wasn't able to do it. I was just completely depleted and really tired from work. So ended up just picking up the grandson, and he came over and enjoyed the day in the pool. And got to use my pizza oven on the patio today for the first time. And made some fresh dough, rolled it out, and made some wood-fire pizza for everybody. And they came out great. So that's what I did on Labor Day weekend. Made the family some homemade wood-fire pizza. It was thebomb.com. And yeah, I heard you a little bit on the little bit in between my graveyard shifts. Heard you out there. Sounded like you guys were having a good time. I'm definitely interested in hearing your presentation, being you're the godfather. Hi, being Sicilian, you get that right? The godfather of the Papa Hang Camp. And I'll definitely try to be there, hear your presentation. But good deal. Thanks for doing the net, and we'll talk to you soon. Say hello to the better half. 7-3, Bob. Whiskey 8, Lima Oscar uniform from Rolling Hills, California.
Well, that one's perfect, because you kind of combined barbecuing and pizza, right? Pizza oven. So that's cool. All right, Lou. Yeah, that was a good. We ordered a pizza on Friday night when I got home. It was like, I'm not going out when we don't feel like going to pick up the pizza. So we just actually said, let's treat ourselves and just order a pizza in. I think the game was on, and we just had a nice evening that night on Friday when we got home from the island. So, yeah, looking forward to doing the little presentation there and just having some fun down there and seeing all the people down on the west side again. So I haven't been there since Froman's. Yeah, since Froman's. This is the last time I was there. All right, Lou, thanks. Have a good rest of the weekend if you have any time off. It sounds like you had some today, and definitely a pool was in order. Jim, KE6FVN. Let's see what's going on down in Cerritos. Welcome.
Good evening to everyone on the net, KE6FVN. As I sometimes tell some of my military friends, if it's going on and I'm involved, it's probably taking place. Talking about whales and dolphins, even the U.S. Navy, the whales and dolphins like to swim alongside ship. And that's all I have, KE6FVN.
Yeah, I agree. It's just when you see them out there in their element, and we're cruising along. Of course, the boat's making. I think we were doing about 20 knots on the way back. I think the max it can probably do is about 25 or 26, but we were doing about 20. So we were hauling butt coming back on Friday, and then they just appeared. I mean, of course, the captain can see it a lot easier than we can, but you usually know when they hit the motor and just drop it down to. I thought maybe it was because of these swells. They were actually getting quite large, but it was because of the dolphins. So that was very cool. Yeah, and, kids, you just watch their faces light up because, they've probably seen them at amusement parks or SeaWorld and those kind of places. But to see them actually right next to your boat. And one kid was trying to touch one of them, and it was just like, oh, don't fall in here. We don't need that to happen. Probably I told Evo he was taking some video with his camera, and I said, yeah, don't worry if you drop your, not your camera, but your phone. If you drop your phone in, they'll just go there and pick it up and flip it back into the boat. I hope. All right, Jim, thank you so much. And let's say hello to Mike, KC6 ESW. What's happening, Mike?
W6CJX from KC6 ESW. Good evening. Good to hear you out there, Bob. Glad to have you back on the mainland here after your trip to Santa Cruz Island. Wow, what an adventure. You guys have done this for a number of years, and always exciting when you guys are out there and hear all about your adventures. I'm curious if you guys saw any activity from Vandenberg. I think it was a rocket launch last week. Not sure what day, if you guys are still there or not, but you might have got a real good view. A couple things. I was going to ask you how long that boat ride is from Ventura to Santa Cruz Island, and what was the ultimate highlight of the trip? Just out of curiosity. I'm glad that you guys had fun, and always cool to listen to you guys over there, as well as get the lowdown on Adrian's hike around the island, which is a little different this year, I guess. So we'll turn it back to you. Have a good evening. W6CJX, KC6ESW.
Yeah, great question. And I also wanted to mention, if anyone's out there wants to check in that was on the island with us, please do. I didn't mean to. I just wanted to have Steve a chance there. He usually gives us our weekly report, our field reporter there. Or I guess it would be the ocean reporter this time. It takes about an hour and a half, as the video that I produced or whatever years ago on YouTube that says it takes about an hour and a half depending on how many dolphins, whales, and sea lions or whatever we see. And that's kind of true. You know, if we don't see anything, although the seas were rough going out, so it took a little bit longer, whatever. But it's hour and a half to 2 hours maybe. I think it's only about 24, 25 miles. So I think it's a little closer than Catalina. And it's a great time to go. And you know, it's not that bad. There was one gal that was a little, looked a little sick, but she took some. I think Tom KI6BL offered some. No, I can't. Mescaline, mezcal. Yeah, mezcal. That'll fix you up. Mescaline, I think it was. So anyway, it had helped her out, and she started feeling a lot better. All right, thank you, Mike. Yeah, it's always good to hear you guys and talk back and forth. And it's my 15th year, so it's kind of old hand. And I guess maybe I should answer the question of what was the biggest. The biggest difference was Adrian didn't do the hike from Prisoners all the way over, so he came directly to the camp with us, but then took the hike, not the same hike, but a different one, the next day, and then was able to be followed on APRS. So we kind of got it all put in there. And, a lot of the guys, Brian, CDD, and Evo, and who else was doing some HF, they made a lot of contacts, especially when Brian took his antenna up on the hill there where Rick N6IET used to go, and it just made a big difference. So he got all kinds of POTAs. All right. Thank you, Mike. And let's say hello to Jeff, KO6JCA. Welcome, Jeff. W6CJX, Net Control.
Thank you, Bob. KO6JCA coming in on Papa 3. Great to hear from you, and glad to hear you had a great trip. It was nice to listen to your nets from the island, and actually got to speak to you out there, and that was cool. And I was wondering, you mentioned on one of the nets that didn't see any of I think you called them water bees or the yellow jackets that normally you see, and I was wondering if maybe it was because of the temperature, if it was a little bit cooler this year than in past years, or maybe the bees found another water source. Anyway, back to Net Control, 73 all, KO6JCA.
I was joking with Carolyn a little bit before the net, and I said, even though I have this topic of Labor Day, it's probably going to still turn into an island net, which is fine. That's all right. Not an island net, but an island wrap-up net. So that's actually okay. I wanted to ask, now that you mention it, I can't ask the Ranger. I wanted to ask the Ranger why the Yellow Jackets are gone, because that was been a staple there for many years. I mean, every year that I know of. And I think Brian CDD went over there first, fill up the first water of many water jugs, which we ended up both having a leak in, even though we've had them for years. And he said, "Yeah, there's no bees or anything over there." And I said, "You're kidding." I had to go see for myself, but there wasn't no Yellow Jackets. So we named it Yellow Jacket Springs, and it's. I guess we'll have to just change the name now. So I don't know. Yeah, it could have been just. I don't know, maybe time of the year, maybe they're more prevalent when more people are out there, because it's kind of after the summer rush, I guess. It was, the schools were back in, but there was a lot of people there. It wasn't like there wasn't, it was just right, actually, just the right amount of people. All right, Jeff, thank you so much. And, great talking to you guys. And doing the island, that was always a lot of fun to get ready for it. Sometimes it's kind of cold. You got to put a few jackets on and get everything warmed up. But yeah, it's fun. That makes it even more fun. Let's say hello to Ellen, K6DV. Welcome, Ellen.
Hey, Bob. Good evening. I have to say I enjoyed those nets every night as well while you all were over there on the island. And I had a thought, and I was wondering whether you booked the week depending upon the phases of the moon, because it would be great if you went over there with a full moon to illuminate your campsite at night, to do a night hike or something. Sounds like a good way. Anyway, I wish I could have joined you even for a day, but not in the cards given my current situation. So, I will just vicariously go camping. And did you have a topic about Labor Day? Because I'm retired. I don't know what labor is. I work every damn day. K6TV, back to you.
Well, you figure we did our labor. That's the way I look at it. I did 40 years of hard labor. So I'm retired too and enjoying this life. I wish we could do something like that where you could coordinate it. I was just really lucky on the third try, and this has never happened in all the 15 years of booking reservations for the island. Finally got that whole week, and I had to block out Sunday to Sunday, which we usually don't do. We usually go on a Wednesday through Sunday. But I kind of like this idea of either going Sunday or Monday and then coming back just before all the other visitors come out. I was going to say yahoos, but they're not yahoos. You know what I mean? Just to get the bulk of people coming out Thursday, Friday, and then they spend the weekend. And we didn't realize this was so much that it was a Labor Day weekend either. When you're over there, you forget what day it is and what time and what month it is, I suppose. But then we realized, there's a lot of people coming over here for the weekend. But yeah, that was definitely fun. It's a good thing. I wish you could go there too. Maybe for a day, but it's kind of a long ways to come just for the day. Driving wise, but it's worth it. Definitely worth it. Thank you, Ellen. And I'll take you up on those herding of crickets techniques. We'll see how that works. Let's see if I get those crickets back in the cage a little bit faster. Let's say hello to Hal, N6HAL. Good evening, Chief.
N6HAL. Good evening, Bob. Glad to hear you guys had a good time over there. It sounds like a lot of fun. I might want to try that, but I'm not much of a hiker. The old back won't take it much anymore, but I might do like a day trip or something like that, so I'll have to look into that for next year. As far as Labor Day, family used to get together on all the holidays, and we'd always eat barbecue hamburgers or hot dogs, very rarely steak, but too big a family. But now the families all have their kids, and they seem to do their own things. The holidays, we don't get together all that much, but on some of the big ones we do. But I live in a retirement community now, so this Labor Day, we're having a park chili cook-off, so I'll be attending that. Back to the net, N6HAL.
Yeah, sounds like fun. Well, we went on Saturday to a birthday party for a 1-year-old. Well, you know how those go. The 1-year-old's not going to remember probably anything about it other than the pictures and stuff. But all the adults and the friends, so it's like family friends of ours that we've known for many, many years, and got to see them only once in a while. Usually it's during these birthday parties, but it was just a real hoot. We had a good time up in Ventura at a park up there, El Camino Real or something park. But it actually didn't get that hot after we found some shade and the breeze came in the afternoon. It was beautiful. But we got hot dogs and hamburgers too. So that was our Labor Day thing. Although I made a brisket, like I said, today just for the family. And we snuck a little bit tonight. Carolyn does like the brisket with the barbecue sauce. It's one of the few meats that she'll like to eat. All right. Thank you, Hal. And let's see, Ron. I think Ron has some tales of maybe some Labor Day fun. He's always got some groups around him. So tell us from the past, I guess, when you've had all your great friends from traveling or anything that sticks out in your mind there, Ron. KF4PQH, welcome.
This is KF4PQH. coming in from Locust Grove, Virginia on All-Star. Yeah, actually, it's interesting because summertime we usually wouldn't be hanging around by you folks no longer out there because it's kind of hot. And so Labor Day, we no telling where we were at different times. Some recent years don't have any big gatherings, although I remember in our younger days, particularly my wife's sisters, when I go back to when we were in our 20s and early 30s, they had swimming pools in their backyard, and it was always a family gathering going on there. As far as barbecuing, I had a little grill I kept in the motorhome. I could probably do 2 or 3 steaks or 4 or 5 hamburgers on it. It was just big enough for carrying around in the motorhome. But do love to grill, so actually a very appropriate topic for tonight. I actually ordered a new Weber 3-burner grill for the house here now that we're in. I said, maybe it's time to get a regular grill again, but it's not getting delivered until Wednesday. I decided to have it delivered, and they had a special lady even assemble it for free, so I got that coming. But I love to make ribeyes or marinated flank steak, or my wife and some of my daughter-in-laws, my granddaughter, like when I marinate chicken, usually I'll marinate it in ranch, throw some seasonings in there, and that kind of makes it tenderized up a little bit and brings it down good. Some Italian sausage, or even seafood, shrimp, veggies. I love to put all that stuff on a grill. I'm a foodaholic, so I love to do that kind of thing. So got my new grill coming Wednesday, and I'm planning on cooking something. I'll probably put a ribeye on for me, but I'll bet my wife is going to ask for chicken. We go out to the restaurant, I usually say to her, how do you like your chicken? So Dee is a chicken person. But looking forward to it, and you all have a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. Hopefully you get out there and have a good time with somebody. So 7-3, this is KF4 PQH, Locust Grove, Virginia.
Well, congratulations on the new grill. That sounds exciting. It's always fun to get a new grill, especially if they put it together and bring it to you, or either free, whatever. They've got some good deals where they'll bring it. So that'll be fun. Yeah, I know. It's now the interesting thing you mentioned was ranch. Yeah, I've heard of that, and I hear it's really good if you marinate. I don't know how much. I know ranch is it's like a priceless commodity sometimes when you go to some of these places. Like if you dip your pizza or something in it, they charge you like $1 a little cup of it. But I guess if you made your own or just got the buttermilk, I think that has a lot to do with soaking your chicken in buttermilk. And then I always like to make jerk chicken too, just a little bit of jerk in there and spices and put other stuff with it. So sounds good, sounds delicious. So I have to get out the old the chicken, a few chicken things there in the freezer and make those up in the next few days. Always a pleasure, Ron. You guys have a happy Labor of Love Day. I know that sounded kind of cool. Happy Labor of Love. Labor of Love is supposed to be the barbecuing part. See, that was the key. All right, thank you, sir. And let's say hello to Chuck, KO6KCY.
Thanks, Bob. This is Chuck here in Oceanside, KO6KCY. I sure have enjoyed your Island Nets this week. I didn't check in, but I enjoyed listening to what you guys were doing. As far as Labor Day, normally we barbecue, and I wish I had the experience that some of these people have. Our gentleman from Locust Grove there, that sounds like he's a pro. But this year, the request was made for me to make my baked ziti. So it's not going to be on the barbecue, but that's what we're doing for Labor Day this year. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it, and thanks for including me on the net, KO6KCY.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming by, Chuck, and listing on the island. Yeah, it's it's like when we do the island that we just try to do the best we can, and I guess our signal was pretty good. We did have a 440 Yagi on a speaker stand, one of my many speaker stands for music, PA. Works great, and it's easy to lightweight and easy to carry over there in the bag and all that kind of good stuff. And then just hooked it up to a little mobile, 25-watt mobile, although I was only using, I think, 5 watts. But we have a good swath of RF going from our campsite out there, so that makes it nice and have a good signal from out there. I guess if you had kind of a lousy signal, it's be okay because you're on an island, right? So it's not so bad. All right, sounds good, Chuck. Might check in with Lou, W8LOU. He's pretty good at barbecuing Italian food, so I just thought I'd throw that in there. This is W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. looking for a few more check-ins. Who's out there tonight wants to talk a little bit about Labor Day favorites to barbecue? If you're going to barbecue, or what you're going to do for fun on Labor Day. We're just going to throw it out there. Please come now.
KM6 Kilo 4 Hotel Charlie Delta Delta Brian, San Marcos.
Hello, Oscar 6 Delta Golf X-Ray All-Star Rick.
Johnny.
Alpha Bravo 6 Mike
Kilo
Bravo.
6 Oscar Papa Mike Mark Oak Park, California.
Whiskey 8 Kilo November X-Ray Rory.
November 6 Alpha Quebec, Quebec.
All right. I guess the rush is over. I need to clarify a couple. I got RJ, AVH. I had a Kilo 4 right after RJ. Could you come back?
Kilo 4 Hotel Delta.
You know, I thought it was Kevin. Between the voice and the Kilo 4, but I didn't get the Hotel Delta, so thank you, Kevin. And let's see, I had a San Marcos. Someone in San Marcos, go ahead.
Kilo Oscar 6 Charlie Delta Delta.
How come I'm missing all my good friends? I should know them more than everyone. Let's see it. I got Johnny, I got Rick up in San Ynez, I got Jeff. I've got Mark, OPM, I got Rory, and I got Dale, AQQ. So let's go to the top and say hello to RJ, KM6, AVH.
Hey, good evening, all. Don't have any big plans for tomorrow. Just what everybody else does on a holiday. I'll get up in the morning, go to the gym for 3 hours, do a little workout. I'm sure everybody else will be there. No, it's going to be pretty empty, which is good. And I don't know, I've just been jonesing for a pizza, so I bought a pizza to pop in the toaster oven tomorrow. So that's going to be the holiday. And if I'm still hungry, I may broil up a hamburger later on. So we'll have to see. But other than that, not much else. KM6 AVH back to net control.
Yeah, after going to that birthday party on Saturday, I forgot how good, homemade hamburgers are, even though these were just the patties like you can buy. But they're just so good. You just, put one of those with some cheese on it and your lettuce, tomato, and onion, and mayonnaise or mustard or whatever your pleasure, and tastes pretty darn good. So I might have to invest in a package of those to have once in a while. Even without the bun, it would be good. All right, sounds good, RJ. Good to hear you tonight. I hope all is well, and I'm sure you're doing well. Let's say hello to Kevin, K4, Hotel Delta. What's going on, Kevin? How you doing?
Good evening, Bob, and everyone on the Great Outdoor Net. Nice to be here. Usually way past my bedtime. We do have the holiday tomorrow. Try to stay up and jump on the net. Unofficial in the summer. We used to have it where that was the beginning of school. We always knew school was starting after Labor Day. Not so much anymore. My little one went back to school, I think it was the 12th or 11th of August. But they had a lot more days off than we used to have back in the day. Speaking of, you mentioned how Labor Day really equated to the somberness of, like, say, Memorial Day. But in my camp, we do spend time remembering the foundation, the creation, and the meaning of Labor Day, which goes back into social reform, back to counter slave labor and child labor, fair wages, and all that came about through the sacrifice of a lot of people that aren't even named. Most people don't even know the folks that sacrificed that we can have what we have today, and that's the for us anyway, the true meaning behind Labor Day. So we celebrate that and take a moment, remember those that have set the way, better society, humane way, safety, our unions, all that, more than just food and gathering, sports and whatnot. So that's what we'll be doing. Good to hear you out there. Have a great one, and we'll catch you next month. 73 all the way around. Kilo 4, Humpty Dumpty, waving a hand from Canyon Country. Back to net control.
Well, thank you, Kevin. I feel bad now because I didn't really research Labor Day. But, I'm glad you brought that up and clarified it a little bit with us, too, and let us know that, there's more meaning than just all of us people that go out and labor or have labored in our time, because you're absolutely right. There's, equal rights of labor and all that comes into play. So, yeah, it was just that I felt a little bit like, well, we could say Happy Labor Day or Happy Labor of Love Day. I had to throw the love in there. And just, that we can actually go out there and have some fun, but also think about the other great holidays that we celebrate. All right, well, have a good one. Yeah, I think I got out of high school just when they were starting that year-round school. I just didn't want to have to do that. But everything got kind of discombobulated somewhere down the line. But that was always our thing, right? It was Labor Day weekend, and then you knew probably sometime in that next week you'd be going back to school. So I don't know how much fun that was, but it was kind of good. Let's see, we got Brian, KO6CDD. Give us a little rundown on what you did HF-wise and how many POTAs and all that good stuff. So go ahead, Brian, and welcome.
KO6CDD. Good evening, Bob and the net. Yeah, did POTA from the island. Managed to get 2 activations, one from up top on that hill, and then the other one from down on the beach right next to the dock. That worked out really, really well. Highlights of some of the contacts were South Dakota. I did manage to catch the HRO office in Denver. They came back to me, and a couple of Canadian contacts, and a lot of Colorado, New Mexico, but it was a lot of fun. Had a good time. Just 20 watts, pretty compromised antenna, just sticking up on a pole. But it was a blast. Had a riot and had a good time. So I've got my first set of activations in the log. So I'm looking forward to doing some more POTA. As far as Labor Day goes, we're gonna do some ribs on the smoker tomorrow, but looks like we're going to be spending the day at the vet. We've got one of the dogs that's not doing too good, so we'll see what happens there. Anyway, had a great time out there, Bob. Thanks a lot, and thanks to everybody else that went, and we'll turn it back over to you. KO6CDD, back to net.
Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, I know you've had at least one that's hasn't been doing so well. So maybe it's best that you're back now. But yeah, we did have you. Let me tell you, folks, this guy was in his element. Brian, he barely even would talk to us because he was just going for it with all the contacts. He was just having a blast. So we did have a really good. Yeah, he talked to us. But when he was on the radio, no, don't bother him. He had some good fun. I think I told Brian, or maybe I texted it to him, but on our way out, Evo and I were standing on the pier, and one of the newer Rangers, I think, came in. He was like more of the law enforcement one. Some of them are just regular Rangers. It's always the one with the gun that you kind of have to watch out for. He said when we found out that we were amateur radio people, or radio people in general, he said, "Did you have a guy or one of you guys down there by the pier yesterday? I got a call. Someone called in that there was a person fishing off the side of the pier over there, and so they sent him a picture, and he said It wasn't a really good picture, but I could tell that wasn't no fishing pole. And I said, yeah, that was one of our guys. And he goes, okay, well, that clears up the mystery, because he said that was too long of a pole if that was a fishing pole. But he had his, it's some Russian name, I can't think of, Rukhov or something, antenna. It was wonderful. Anyway, I had to tell him that story, Brian. You weren't there to enjoy we were laughing with the Ranger. He thought it was great. All right, well, we'll do it again whenever you're ready. I'm ready. Well, I'm almost ready. I didn't even want to pick up a radio for a couple of days after I got home, because I ended up carrying a radio around for 5 days. All right, let's say hello to Rick, KO6DGX. How you doing, Rick? And welcome to the Great Outdoors.
Hey, thank you so much, Bob, giving us another edition of the Great Outdoors and my holiday and barbecuing things. A couple of little quick stories here. Well, this weekend, we take it easy out here and don't travel much and go to, because we wait for middle of the week or when there's not a holiday, and then that's when it's best to go out. And then I like barbecuing at the park. So those square boxes they have next to the picnic table? That's usually where we're get going. And I was entertaining my brother-in-law. He's a good old boy from Missouri. He actually duck hunts with the Duck Dynasty people. And we were barbecuing, and I saw him walking around our local park. We were at the local park, and he was scraping up all this bark and, things they throw on the ground, and then they spray them, like with defoliants and stuff like that. And I didn't know what he was doing, but he scooped up, a whole pan full of them, and then he threw it on our coals, on our barbecue. And he said, yeah, you put natural wood scent on your barbecue. That's the way to do it. And but he didn't know that they were all sprayed with poisons and stuff. So this black cloud rises out of our barbecue. All the other barbecues are regular old barbecues. They look normal. But this cloud rises out of ours. So there's like black, acrid cloud. And there was a good stiff wind, so it was blowing across the whole park. And suffice it to say, I did not eat any of that stuff that came off of there. And but I did. So moving on. So my wife, I heard you earlier on talking about I thought it was barbecued pizza. Not sure. I was just checking in. But got to tell you, that's a fresh recipe. But my wife actually, she loves to cook. And she means well. But she accidentally discovered a recipe for boiled pizza. So KO6DX.
Wow. Did you say boiled pizza? I don't think I've ever heard of boiling a pizza. Interesting, though. I guess you could. Somehow. I mean, you boil raviolis and pasta, so I guess there'd be some way of doing that. But that sounds pretty toxic. It sounds like those radioactive shrimp that's been passing around the markets here. And I think I would have stayed away from that one, too. That's great. But, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, usually what I use those little barbecues that's there next to the picnic tables to put my little Smoky Joe, Weber Smoky Joe on top of it, just to set it on so that's more safe than on the ground or on a table, and then just use that because those things are, wow. I guess you can put some foil on them and try to clean them up a bit, but definitely some good stuff there. All right, well, thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. Say hello to Johnny, KO6COJ. I can write sometimes. Anyway, it's fun checking in or talking to you there from the tent. We were actually, he was home on his new antenna, and I was in my tent all snug as a bug and was talking on my HT. So that's pretty amazing from an island. Go ahead, Johnny, take it.
All right. Hey, Bob. Good evening to the net and everyone listening. Welcome back to the mainland there, mister. Anyway, good to hear you out there. Just finished up a net earlier, the new hams net for the Bozo system here locally, and dialed over to Papa to hear your voice and just get one more on the list for you. So anyway, barbecue tomorrow, smash burgers that aren't so smashed. I've been making them with pretty large amount of hamburger and smashing them with a small plate, and they cook out to still be like an inch thick. And let me break. And I use the typical, garlic, salt, not garlic salt, but garlic, salt, pepper, and I've been using onion dip and a little bit of Worcestershire as seasoning. And man, talk about one killer tasting burger. Anyway, you're right about homemade burgers. There's nothing like homemade burger with fresh lettuce, tomato, onion, and all the good stuff. And Ruffle-type potato chips, or the regular Lay's kind if you like those kind. Anyway, a happy Labor Day to everybody. Good to hear Kevin out there. He had something weird going on. Sounded like he was over-deviating, and then it cleared up. And anyway, waving a hand to Kevin back. KO6COJ back to net. Thanks for doing the net, Bob.
Well, you hit the nail on the head when you said the onion dip mix. Well, you didn't say mix, but I'm assuming it wasn't just onion dip. It was probably onion dip mix. But you can put that on a roast. I think my mom used to do that and put it in the oven, one of those roasting pans with some water. It makes a great au jus. But that the mixture, because it's got a lot of like salt stuff in it and onions, little pieces of onions, and that's really good in a hamburger. Yes, yeah, absolutely. With Worcestershire. Worcestershire. I don't know. People have the hardest time saying that thing. They would have just made it some other, just call it sauce. And a little pepper and garlic. Yep, there you go. That's all you need. Makes a good one. Now you're making me hungry. Stop it. I ate a little bit today. I didn't eat a whole lot. It was just the heat, didn't feel like it as much. Thank you, Johnny. And let's say you have a great day tomorrow. And let's say hello to Jeff, AB6MB. What's going on, San Francisco man?
Hey, Bob. Good to see you got back safely. The ham camp out there was a lot of fun. Just an interesting event that went on during the week, and the nets every night of the week. Yeah, that you guys were out there were great too, and it was just pretty cool for about 4 or 5 days. It was just an event happening, and people were enjoying it, and the nets was going, and it was pretty cool. So I was looking at, I enjoyed helping out by trying to do comms for you guys, and so you always knew somebody was there in case you needed anything. But I can tell that technology-wise is starting to creep into the ham camp with the visitor center having Wi-Fi, and then a couple guys are out using their phones on the pier and that. So it's not quite as isolated as it used to be. But it's just, I don't know, I just really enjoy it. It's like just a special event that happens once a year. Every day I'm just going to take it easy and take the day off because it's Labor Day. So, and I just see what football I can watch and baseball and so on. So, unfortunately, the Dodgers are not playing tomorrow, and darn it. But anyway, back to you, Bob. Back to you, AB6MB.
All right, Jeff. Yeah, that's, I think we watched them today. I believe. Yes, they did. Well, 1 out of the 3 in the series with the Diamondbacks. So we'll see how they do against, I think the Pittsburgh Pirates are next, if I'm not mistaken, on Tuesday. And that reminded me of scheduling and thinking of things. I don't think we had a rocket launch out there while we were there, but the Rangers were talking about it, and they said that I told them about this, the app, Space Launch. It's just called Space Launch, and it's got a little monkey in a spacesuit type of thing. It's a free app. I mean, you can donate to it. It's kind of like Firewatch. But it gives you, if you can filter out all the other launches around the world, or at least in the United States, and just focus on Vandenberg, and it'll notify you, it'll put it on your calendar. It does all kinds of things if you want it to. But they said it is really spectacular from out there because they're facing that direction, and just to see it kind of leave from Lompoc up on the hill from Vandenberg and just make that arc right across the sky, I bet it would be just fantastic. Wow. So maybe we'll have to try to schedule that. I think we were off by just a day or something. It might have been on a Friday or something like that. All right. Well, thank you, Jeff, and thank you for being there. Absolutely, for knowing that we have someone out there. I'm sure we had a lot of people out there, but it's nice to know we have one person in particular that has a few of the phone numbers and, can contact Carolyn if we needed to, and don't have to, be handing out phone numbers over the air and stuff that's already pre-planned. So having a comms expert in our corner is always a plus. So we always appreciate all your help there, Jeff. Let's say hello to Mark up in Thousand Oaks, K6 OPM. What's going on, Mark? And I think you're part of the ACS group, right? I think we've had that discussion before.
That's correct. This Tuesday we got an ORT coming up. So I'm with the Area 2 ACS team. So I think we've talked before. Anyway, my heart goes out to the gentleman with the ill dog, and gosh, a little bit of everything. The Dodgers won. Getting out on the ocean and we're watching the dolphins. At the bow. It's like a spiritual experience. Kind of, I guess, labor of love on Labor Day and barbecuing. I think man and meat, it goes back a long ways, man cooking meat. And I like to barbecue New York strip steaks. And I usually have pretty good luck with those. And then I mix up some vegetables and grill those too. So, that's kind of on the grill thing for tomorrow. And outside of that, thank you for doing the net, Bob, and 73 to everyone. And let's hope it cools off a little bit. Like, wow, it's been hot. So this is K6 OPM.
Well, great to hear you again, Mark. And I'll have to listen out for you, sometime during the day. I think I've heard you talk to different people and say hello. And, I think we do have the ORT on Tuesday night. I forgot last week when we left for the island to let Avi, our Area 3 manager, know that I wasn't going to be there. So somehow in the middle of the night, speaking of technology creeping in, I got my ACS text message. I ended up getting my ACS phone call, and then I finally got my ACS email. They just all kind of, where they came from, I have no idea, because I think I was in airplane mode, but I was using the satellite messenger from the iPhone, which really actually works quite well. I got to play with it quite a bit, because I thought, this is not a better time to just work with it and see how it works, and you can kind of follow, if you want to have a longer text message conversation, you can kind of follow, there's a little green dot up there that goes yellow, and then you got to know you got to move left or right to kind of keep following that satellite. But it's a lot of fun, actually, until they start charging us, I suppose. But it's nice to have that in your back pocket if you really, really needed it. And I'm sure if you're in the desert, because we had a lot of trees and hills on each side, I bet you if you're in the desert, open sky, you would have no problem at all. So it's a good thing to think about if you've got that capability. I think it's 14 and up, something like that, but look into it. It's a great, great feature. W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. And let's say hello to Rory, who is also coming in tonight because he doesn't have to go to work. W8KNX. Welcome, my friend. And how are you been?
W6CJX in the net, W8KNX. Good evening, Bob. Yes, indeed. A holiday Monday means I can stay up late enough on Sunday to check into the Papa Outdoor Net coming in from through Papa All-Star from the Detroit area. And Labor Day, with Detroit being a union town, Labor Day does usually have all sorts of acknowledgments and parades and things, and certainly well recognized here. But I'm thinking simple barbecue, simple hamburgers tomorrow. And a couple people mentioned barbecuing the pizza. I know earlier this year I had a family friend of ours owns a hardware store franchise, and she has a lot of Weber grilled stuff, and I know they have attachments and things to be able to barbecue pizzas easily. That was an interesting thing to see in a demonstration. But anyhow, that's that. Enjoying hearing about Ham Camp. I think you said, Bob, it was 15 years, and I was trying to think it was one of the very early years that I know when I was checking in on the D-Star net that you had started going. So I said, boy, I've been nuts for some time. So very good. I wish I would have been able to get a POTA contact with you guys out there. I do quite a bit of POTA here in Michigan, and that would have been a fun thing to do. Who knows, one of these days maybe I'll get out there and can tag along. That would be a fun thing to do. I'd like to experience that. And I did have to look at the calendar, what you were talking about doing the talk on it at the West Side Luncheon there, because I do have a trip coming up out that way. I'll be out in California, so first time in a number of years actually, but that does not coincide. I was going to say if it did, I might have to swing through there, but that's okay. But good to hear everyone on the Papa Net, the outdoor net, and always fun to listen in when I have a chance on a Sunday night. 7-3, back to you, Bob, W8KNX.
Yep, Rory's been a really good friend of the Papa system, and through D-Star, I think we talked probably more on D-Star. Now he's got his either a clear node or an all-star node of some type, and is able to come in. It's just that he's usually, with the hours that he works and things, he's not able to check in, at least on this net, because of the time difference, of course. And but when he has the Monday off, so when I heard him call in, I went, there he is. He's got Monday off. So good for you, and enjoy it. Yeah, and I would imagine, Detroit area, you probably have parades and all kinds of stuff. When you first mentioned that, I thought, I wonder if they have parades. And about that same time, you said they have parades and all kinds of things going on. So a lot of labor was going on. A lot of labor of love, I think, was going on in there, the making of automobiles over all those years, right? So that's pretty cool. And Dale, I've got Dale coming up next. And boy, how did you get at the bottom of the list? This is terrible. We got to work on that, Dale. Hopefully you're still with us. I'm sure you are. I hope you are. And we'll say hello to you. In 6 AQQ, I already forgot your call. It's been so long. Go ahead, Dale. Welcome.
Good evening, everybody. This is Dale in 6 AQQ. It's 78 degrees in Tustin. It's a warm night. Listening to the net about the Ham Camp and stuff. Very interesting. That's basically it. N6 AQQ. Back to you, Bob. Thanks for doing it.
Well, we've got matching temps. I got 78 in the shack, so it's not outside. I think it's a little bit cooler, but it's actually comfortable. It got up to about 85 out here earlier today inside the shack is what I'm saying. And I thought, man, this is going to be brutal doing the net tonight. But I kind of opened some of the doors, and we got one big door right in front of me. That one cooled things off pretty fast because we do get kind of that ocean breeze sometimes out here. Will you stay cool and enjoy tomorrow and maybe have something good to eat? I don't know what kind of games are on or whatever's on TV, but I'll just spend some time with family and friends. W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. Let's see if we have any other people out there lurking that would like to jump in and say hello and give us any Labor Day thoughts or anything they were doing for their favorite Labor Day foodies, I guess. I don't know. It was just kind of an extra fun topic. I knew we probably would talk a little bit more about Ham Camp, and that's always good too, so just don't want to burn anyone out on it. W6CJX standing by for any other calls.
K6PFN, John on Echolink.
K3ENE. KO6 BKX. KO6 CDD with a recheck and a question.
Okay. All right. So I got John and I got Justin, I got Evo and Brian. And John, when you came on, am I hearing crickets? I know you're usually doing something with the scouts or whatever outside someplace, but I thought I accidentally left my crickets on accidentally, or a few of them got out of their cage. So please tell us what's going on and how are you tonight?
K6PFN, John here, Echolink. Hope I'm coming through. Was with the Scouts, Angeles National Forest, Little Jimmy Campground last weekend. It was fantastic. We hiked up to Mount Islip at 200 feet. Highly recommend that. So Little Jimmy, great campground with a natural spring, which is awesome. You just have to sort of, purify the water. But otherwise, just want to say hi, and glad you're another ham camp is in the book. So cool I love hearing all about it. And happy Labor Day, everyone. Back to you, Bob, K6PFN.
I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like crickets to me in the background, like real crickets. Well, they're all real crickets, right? Yeah, that sounds great. I got to look that up. Little Jimmy. That just sounds so different than a normal campsite. I think I've heard. I know you've talked about it before, but I got to kind of look it up. And I write things down as we have the nets, and I make some notes because otherwise I'd forget all about it. Look up a few things up there, so that'd be kind of fun. All right. Well, you're sounding good coming in on Echolink. Always. Yeah, not bad at all. And we love to hear your adventures out there with the Scouts and everything, too, of course, John. And let's say hello to Justin, another one of our campers that was out there with us, had a great time. And I have to admit, Justin makes some pretty darn good coffee. K3 E&E.
Hey, thanks, Bob, for doing the net. Been up and down the campgrounds here about 3 times looking for your campsite, and feel like I'm the only one out here now. No, I'm just kidding. But just want to say thanks for getting everybody together for the island adventures, and always have a lot of fun going out there. And yeah, that's pretty much where I want to put it. And got to meet some new people this year, and got a new hike in going a different way, and realized I don't like climbing up hills as much as I like going down them half the time, except for when I'm slipping and falling. That's not very fun. Other than that, I hope the rest of your time on the island without the nice electric cooler was just as good. And yeah, I'll leave it at that, and just want to say thanks, and hope everybody's doing good up there, and had a wonderful time at the ham camp. K3ENE, back to net.
Well, see, you've already got 2 under the books now, so that's your second year. We'll have to give you a badge next year. If anybody goes camping, make sure you invite James and Justin. I swear, these guys are incredible when it comes to whatever. We actually had a refrigerator/freezer that made ice. It had an ice maker. These guys, amazing stuff. I guess I got some pictures of it. 200-watt solar panel, 100 amp hour battery, and then ran that refrigerator cooler, whatever you want to call it. It's just amazing. So we did have ice on in fact, on our packing things up, Evo and I, on the Friday there, where there was one big chunk that was left over. So I don't think that would have happened if it wasn't for you guys helping us out with that. I think you brought a bag over to us, or what was left of one. So everything kept cold. Ice cold water with a little ice in it always works, goes a long ways. All right, Justin, thank you. And you guys were included on the POTA soda. I sort of forgot that part. And I was getting kind of busy there with taking check-ins. But yeah, you guys had your setup over there too. So good for you. And that was a lot of fun. All right, well, thanks, Justin. And let's break over and go to our good friend Evo K06BKX, who we had a great time, didn't we, Evo? We just, you got some rest in, and, get away from work a little bit. I think he was still secretly working, but I didn't want to say anything. K06BKX, welcome.
Good evening, Bob, and everybody on the net. K06BKX here. Mobile, actually. Yes, the ham camp was wonderful. Yes, I did do a little bit of work, but only the
most important ones. I got about 400 emails to handle before Tuesday morning, which is doable. Tomorrow is Labor Day, so I'll enjoy working it pretty much all day. Machines are running, people are having off, so I'll be tending to the machines. But it was great being on the island, and technology doesn't stop anybody anymore. We'll see where we end up, but I'll definitely look forward to next year's ham camp, and I encourage everybody who wants to have the experience to join us next year, even if it's just for a day trip or maybe an overnighter. It's very much worth it. All right, thanks again, Bob, and I'll catch you later. KO6PKX, back to Net Control.
One time I made a statement. I said, when we get cell service out here on Wi-Fi on this island, I'm not coming back. But I rethought that a little bit, and, like they say, time waits for no one type of thing, and technology changes. With all due respect, we really should have great cell service out there and internet or /internet, because you got to figure all those people out there on the island that really have no other communication like we do. I mean, we can call out anywhere, anytime, and somebody, hopefully, on the Papa system will respond. I can't imagine they wouldn't, especially if we had an emergency where these other people that are there have nothing. The fact that, they can get some Wi-Fi down at the visitor center, it's good. I'm good with it. I can still pretend. I can still go put my phone in airplane mode and use satellite messaging like we did. So I had fun with that. I had like at least 3 or 4 back and forths with my daughter. I mean, it was like instead of just one little text message, we actually were texting quite a bit, and it was fun. And she's like, "Are you really on the satellite?" And I'd say yes, and it would go. You could actually see the little blue bar at the top going across, and then it would say sent. So it was fun, and I know a lot more about how to use it too. All right, Evo, thanks, and you're the best. We had a great time. Great. That's what I said. On the way back, we said, where are you going to find friends like this? These are lifetime friends, and we've met them on amateur radio and the Papa system. Can't beat it. All right, we got Brian as a recheck, KO6CDD. My buddy, what's going on? We miss you, bro.
KO6CDD. Miss you too, Bob. I just have to ask, is there a bench warrant out for me now, or what? You sent that text, and I thought you were pulling my leg. So I'm going to have Evo corroborate that Ranger was actually headed over there after me the next day after I left. Now I'm feeling kind of scared that they're coming after me. KO6CDD.
Evo, do you have a comment?
I sure do, Brian. It was a true story. I just bursted out laughing because I knew what was coming, and it's a true story. You better watch your back when you're out and about, because they are coming after you. Back to Net Control. Oh, one more thing. For Steve, K6LOV, I can maybe send you a video of some dolphins that I captured. Maybe something you can watch while you are waiting for the next trip over. Back to Net Control, KO6BKX.
Oh boy, talk about rubbing salt in the wound. Yeah, we can. Yeah, you got a nice video of some dolphins, that's for sure. But the part I thought I had to laugh when I said, if you drop your phone in the water, the dolphin will just take his nose, how they do with the ball, and just it come flying back over the deck. That might happen. I don't know if it ever has, but anyway, that's kind of cool. Yeah, Brian, you're limited here. You're gonna. No, you're all good. We straightened it out with him, even though he had a 9mm on his side, and we weren't going to argue with him, but said, we'll make sure we tell him not to go down there next to the pier next time with his fishing pole. W6CJX for the Papa Says Great Outdoor Net, and we're talking Labor Day things, if you have those. And what else we got? Oh, yeah, we're almost out of time. Well, we try to keep it within an unlimited time. So I'll give out a last call. It's been a good net. We had a good time, like I said, and now we won't have to talk about, at least until the breakfast and luncheon coming up in a couple of weeks, but we won't have to talk about Papa Ham Camp for a while. Give everybody a break. W6CJX standing by for any last calls for the net tonight. Please come now. Alrighty, we got Justin as our closer. You can tie the tent flaps. You guys had a tent, I think, but mostly the hammocks. Some good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff happening out there. There are different ways of sleeping and stuff. All right, Justin, I got your call sign after you said it was Keen. Now I understand. Now it's easy for me to remember. K3 E&E, come on back.
Just wanted to see if anybody on their way to or from the island saw any whales. On James's and my trip back, we saw 2 humpback whales and then a massive pod of dolphins. If I had to guess, there was probably like 40 of them, all just flipping and flopping and belly flopping through the water, kind of all around us, mainly behind us. And so there's a question. And then, Brian, you don't have to worry. Like I said before, I have that in with Ranger Karen, so you don't have to worry about a thing. I got your back. K3 E&E, back to net.
Yeah, I'll back that one up. Yeah, they spent a little bit of time down there on the beach together, just Justin and Ranger Karen. All right. Thanks for that. And I want to leave you with something that I just heard about today for the first time. And why I didn't think of it, I have no idea, because I've owned a Jetboil. For those of you that you either have one or had one or were thinking about getting one, they are great. And most of the time they say, well, it's they're really made for just boiling water, but they do it very, very efficiently. So if you're doing Mountain House or some kind of a dehydrated meal, or just coffee or tea or noodles in a cup of noodles, those are always good. That works great for that. So I found out today you can make popcorn inside of your Jetboil. And I watched a video on it, and it doesn't look that difficult. If you have a little, plastic bottle, like a lot of us do, of some oil, olive oil, whatever, pour that in the bottom, take few kernels. You don't want to overdo it, but put a few kernels in there, light that thing off, put the lid on it. You will have popcorn. Isn't that cool? So I got to go back and find out where my Jetboil is. I think it's already packed away, and give this a shot. I got to find out. And after they finished it and looked inside, it's just like a couple little husks and nothing big, and it's kind of a Teflon coated. All right, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, coming out and seeing us and welcoming us back from the island. And Labor Day, the love of Labor Day weekend, the happy Labor of Love weekend. Yeah, it's kind of one of those peace, love things going on there. I want to thank the Papa System for allowing us to have this wonderful net and all of our great nets out there. We have some awesome nets. And I believe tomorrow night we have the DMR net, and Tuesday night P25 and D-Star. So those are coming up, and the new hams. And we've got the Thursday night technical roundtable, Friday night antenna net, and we've got the Saturday night roundtable, which was a lot of fun. Last night, it wasn't even a week ago, last night with Darren and the trivia, that was fun. We had a good time. Learned about people's secrets and what kind of jobs they have. So, with that, thank you, Cecil, and everyone on the Papa Tech team that keeps everything going. Of course, all the net controllers. We couldn't net control without you. So I'm going to go ahead and close the net. 21:27. Perfect timing. Look at that, sliding in right under the doormat. And saying 7-3, happy Labor of Love Day tomorrow. And have some fun and think about the reason for the season. W6CJX will be clear.